When did you realize your parents raised you right? I was a senior in high school, and I thought I had everything figured out. I was class president, honor society, the works. But then the biggest scandal in our school's history dropped right into my lap, and suddenly, none of that mattered. It was a Tuesday morning when they called the entire senior class into the gym. Mrs. Foster, our principal, stood at the podium looking like someone had died. She told us that someone had stolen the AP chemistry final exam answers and spread them around. They knew it came from one specific study group, my study group. There were 6 of us who always studied together. 1. Me 2. Caleb 3. Jenna 4. Ryan 5. Alexis 6. Brooke, we'd been tight since sophomore year. These weren't just classmates. They were the people who helped me through my parents' divorce, who celebrated when I got into college, who knew all my secrets. Mrs. Foster called us to her office one by one. When it was my turn, I sat in that uncomfortable plastic chair while she stared at me with those cold blue eyes. She slid a folder across her desk and said they had evidence that someone in our group had the exam 3 days early. Screenshots of group chats, timestamped messages, the whole thing. But here's the thing. I never saw those messages. I was always terrible about checking our group chat. Half the time my phone was dead, or I was at my job at the grocery store. I had no clue what they were talking about. Mrs. Foster leaned forward and asked if I'd be willing to cooperate with their investigation. She said they knew I wasn't involved, but I might have information that could help. She wanted me to look through my phone and turn over anything relevant. I said I needed to think about it. She gave me until the next morning to decide. That night, I went home and told my parents everything. My mom was making dinner, stirring pasta sauce while I sat at our tiny kitchen table explaining the whole mess. My dad was reading his newspaper, but I could tell he was listening to every word. When I finished, my mom turned around and looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Not angry, not disappointed, just serious. She asked one simple question. Do you want to be remembered for being loyal or being honest? I tried to explain that these were my friends, that they'd always been there for me, that I couldn't just throw them under the bus. My dad finally put down his paper and said something that hit me like a truck. Sweetheart, real friends don't put you in positions where you have to choose between them and doing what's right. I barely slept that night. I kept thinking about Caleb helping me with calculus, about Jenna lending me her car when mine broke down, about all the good times we'd had. But I also kept thinking about my mom's question. The next morning, I sat in my car in the school parking lot for 20 minutes before going inside. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through our group chat. That's when I found them. Messages I'd completely missed from 3 days earlier. Screenshots of the exam answers. Jokes about how easy the test was going to be. Planning sessions about how to make their cheating look natural. I screenshot everything and walked into Mrs. Foster's office. I handed her my phone without saying a word. She looked through the messages, nodded, and told me I'd made the right choice. The investigation moved fast after that. All 5 of them got suspended and couldn't walk at graduation. Their college acceptances got reviewed, some got rescinded. None of them spoke to me for the rest of senior year. Caleb walked past me in the hallway like I was invisible. Jenna actually confronted me by my locker and called me a backstabbing traitor. The worst part was that they weren't entirely wrong. I had betrayed them. But I'd also told the truth.